Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk with Brian Poduska. I am not Brian Poduska. I'm Lyndon Wilson. I am the creator of The Difference. And so I want to briefly tell you a little bit about what The Difference is about. The Difference is a social media and digital branding platform where we help small business owners, entrepreneurs, folks in the real estate industry, independent contractors. We help them gain exposure and get their message out so that they can grow their business. Most businesses do not struggle or fail because of a bad product or service. They struggle or fail because not enough people know about what they're doing. Over the past 13 months, The Difference has been able to accumulate over 500,000 viewers. We have grown from one show to now 13 shows each week, and we're averaging somewhere around 10 to 15,000 viewers a week now. So having said that, this is the Real Talk with Brian Poduska show. So I'm going to bring in Brian if he's ready. Hopefully he is. There he is. Did you get your live video set up? By the way, I want to welcome everybody that is watching on Real Property Management Focus Facebook page. We just got that connected today, going live there. So if you're watching from Brian's page, please comment and let us know that you're seeing us there. All comments, follows, likes, everything like that are appreciated. So, Brian, how you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome, Landon. I am doing awesome, and I am multitasking because I'm trying to get a live watch party started for my homepage.
That's
So,
okay. That's okay. We've
bear
been able
with
to
me
explain that
as I
to.
do that.
Sure. Yeah, just real quick, a lot of times you may see, and especially me, you may see us looking down. I've actually had people say, well, you don't seem to pay very much attention while you're on the show. And actually, I am the producer, so I'm pushing buttons from behind and working on the scrolls and the cameras and things like that. So occasionally, I'm always listening, but sometimes my eyes are somewhere else. And we're running the watch parties on social media, so you will see us every once in a while look down at our devices to make sure that we are still connected, still live, and answering any of the comments or questions that may be coming in on the live feed. So got a pretty exciting show today. I know that Brian is going to introduce everybody and talk a little bit about that. I'm excited to hear about it. We've got a great guest in Debbie. Just met her. I did just backstage a little bit. So, but Brian, if you're ready and you want to talk a little bit about yourself and Real Property Management Focus, let's let everybody know who you are.
Awesome. Yes, I am ready. I got the watch party set up, so hopefully you guys are seeing that from my personal page. But yeah, thanks for the intro, Lyndon. Real Property Management Focus is the company that I own. It's we focus on your real estate investments is our tagline, and we are a full-service property management company for both, or I guess all, single-family, multifamily, residential, as well as small commercial. We specialize in working with investors, and we're currently looking for anybody who has over $100,000 of equity in their home and want it to grow much more or exponentially more than what just the average market growth rate is. We've got some pretty cool tools to show you what you can get out of a real estate investment to analyze that. It's called Wealth Optimizer. So that is Real Property Management in a nutshell. Our information is scrolling at the bottom, our contact info, and I'll provide that at the end as well. But without further ado, I would like to bring in our guest today. Her name is Debbie Florence. Debbie is a friend of mine, a fellow hockey parent, and she has some awesome history and stories to tell about our theme today, which is overcoming adversity and adjusting to your circumstances. So without further ado, Debbie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Brian. Thank you for having me on the show and the ability to kind of share my experience and my stories and bring it to all those wonderful viewers that you both have been able to capture over the last year.
Well, absolutely. And you've got some really compelling stories. And one of the results of all the things that you've been through is the company that you are the founder, CEO of. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, your history, and tell us about your company, obviously, and what you guys do, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Well, like you said, I'm a hockey mom, and I have two children, Olivia, who's 18, and Eric, who is 15. Married to a wonderful man named Steve, who has taken us to about 5 different states in the last 20 years that we've been married. He We just left Arizona, went to Dallas, and about a
Came
year
back
and a
to
half
Dallas,
ago.
right?
Huh?
Came back to Dallas.
Yeah, that's true. Came back to Dallas. And in that time, I was working for a small business production company, and my mother passed away. And I decided I was going to launch my own company called Deravia. And it really was because I had spent most of my career in either the insurance industry, public accounting, and then sitting in that chair of a controller GM, that I felt I had all of the skills and expertise, but mainly the courage to go out on my own and start my company. And so I did. And what I was providing to just two business owners, now I'm able to provide to many business owners, as well as a few clients that I help on a personal finance level. So Deravia is a consulting company. I am a CPA. So having that designation obviously lends itself to tax returns. So I do as well. We have a tax side to the business, but mainly we help clients with either starting their own company or helping them because they grew too fast and didn't have all the foundation poured properly when they were starting, and now they need to kind of bring in some consulting and coaching so the wheels don't fall off. And so we really try to come in and help them from more of a coaching perspective and consulting perspective. So while I'm a CPA, and that typically always means, oh, you do accounting and taxes and bookkeeping. Yes, we do. However, we really try to be more valuable to everyone, all of our clients and everybody that we communicate with, just by giving them all of the, to round it out with all the industries that I've been able to be a part of, such as the insurance and, risk management, financial pieces, tax, the whole gamut, even down to technology. We have a small piece of our company that focuses on customized software development as well as digital marketing.
Well, that's like nothing. I mean, as far as overall consulting, you're pretty much touching all areas of the business, which is awesome. And I think your background is great for that. So, that's something that can set you guys apart.
For sure. We definitely enjoy what we do every day, and I have the ability to have clients throughout all the states because I'm a virtual company. So I have a lot of clients in Arizona and Texas and then other states, Kentucky, Alaska. So it really is awesome that we've got the technology today that I'm able to touch many businesses across different state lines.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize you had business in Alaska. That's
yeah.
Cool. Well, so tell me, I mean, you work with, it sounds like multiple different sizes, all different sizes of company. Who's your ideal client?
My ideal client is obviously one that is just starting out and actually invites us to be a part of the team as they start to grow. It's much easier when you do things on the front end than on the back end, trying to play catch up and trying to obviously change and redo some of the things that have been done in the past that may not have been correctly done. So ideally, it's awesome when you get those clients that say, I'm starting a business and will you help me get set up? Not to say that all the ones that we have that are already in place and that have grown so fast, those are just as equally rewarding, because then you get to actually see the results after you've come in for a few months to say, this is where you were and this is where you are now. So that's a different type of value that we are able to provide. But we have clients from all industries. So, we have chiropractors and real estate, doctors, lawyers. We have some reality TV show hosts. So really, there's not just one particular industry. We kind of touch a multitude of different industries. So it's just a matter if you have a business that you need some additional help or coaching or consulting. And we do have a small amount of business owners that then go and expand our service because then they want us to help them on a personal finance level. Because as you know, business owners are very busy and sometimes it's hard to keep up with the personal side. And it's very important to know your personal finances because that's how you know how much money you need the company to be making every month just to make ends meet. What kind of salary do you need to bring in or income you need to bring in? So that's been a lot of fun. That wasn't what initially we set out to do, but it has come into our lap that clients will say, "Can you help me on a personal level? I need a budget, and I don't know how to really budget properly." And so we help them with that cash flow.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, I can speak from experience. It becomes very difficult to juggle working on the business, in the business, and on your personal life and in your personal life. And oftentimes those streams cross all the time. So it's hard to keep it all the balls in the air, so to speak. So that's great that you guys offer full service both on the business side and personal when needed.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, let me take a pause right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a good friend of mine, a fellow realtor, a superstar EXP agent. His name is Brian Dobbs. He has a show also on The Difference. I wanted him, he's took the time out of his day here to jump in. I'd see Brian's name. I don't see his picture. Uh-oh.
I think, yep, looks like we lost him for a second. Maybe he'll jump back on here in a minute. I think he froze up.
Okay, that's cool. Well, when Brian's able to join us, we'll have him just jump in and talk a little bit about his show on The Difference and what he has coming up over this next week or two. His show is called Redefining Real Estate with Brian Dobbs. So when we get Brian, we'll bring him back in. That's 2020 for you on the technology side.
He did leave a note. He left a note that said, just FYI, we're getting a new internet provider. So
right. I was just going to say that. I guess I haven't gotten a new internet provider yet, but that's all good. Well, that's cool. So in that case, let's jump into the meat of the show. I mean, what we're going to talk about today is really overcoming adversity and really.
He's back. If you want to get him in now before we get started, he did make it back.
Okay, cool. Let's bring him in. Hey, what's up, Mr. Dobbs?
How are you?
Good. How's that internet provider going for you?
Oh, it's excellent. So we are in the process of getting that changed immediately. So it's a debacle.
Well, hey, it's not like you need internet nowadays. It's not so important.
I'm still good with your word is your bond. You look somebody in the eye and you shake your hand, and that should be good. But the internet does help.
It's kind of important.
But you know what? For the technically challenged or technology challenged people, the internet is a great person to blame when we can't get things to go right. So I'm not saying you're that way, Brian Dobbs, but all of us have our issues, right? And I always blame the internet company anyway.
Well, you know what? I guess that's just human nature. We always have to have somebody to blame. I prefer to not have to get into that habit, but it's the internet. So,
well, hey, I'm glad you finally got those mouses running fast enough to spin the wheels on the internet provider. But so, thanks for jumping in, Brian. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about your show on The Difference, and we've partnered up on a lot of different things. So just tell a little bit about that, and we'll let you go hammer on your internet provider a little more.
Absolutely, I do appreciate that. And by the way, my wife is taking care of that, so I can remain cool, calm, and collected, because that's really important. So Redefining Real Estate is a program, and basically my heart. It expresses the passion that I have for the industry. It shows it the educational and the training aspect of real estate and how it influences and impacts families, communities, neighborhoods, economies, businesses alike. And that's a great thing. And then we also bring in a lot of business partners that are either affiliated with real estate or outside the real estate world, and show how real estate is affecting them and their lives and their families, etc. Great program, and super excited about it. It's 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock on Tuesdays. It's a weekly program. Love for you to join, jump on, check it out, and give us your comments and your questions, and let us see what we can do in partnering together.
Awesome. Well, I can vouch for the show. I'm a regular tuner-inner and have been a guest on your show before, and it's awesome. You do a great job with it. So, yeah, thanks for joining and talking a little bit about your show, Brian.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brian, for your time. Debbie, I look forward to hearing the rest of your program, and I'll reach out to you. So thanks, and you guys have a blessed day. Okay?
All
right,
bye-bye. You too. Bye.
All right. Well, I'm glad we got that in. I'm glad our internet provider over there was sufficient. But yeah, so let's transition. We'll talk a little bit about the meat of the show and the meat of the topic that we have today, and that is the ability to adapt and overcome obstacles. One of the main reasons I wanted to have Debbie on the show today, not only to talk about her business and all that can offer to entrepreneurs, but to share some of the stories that she's been through, some of the challenges that she's been through in her life. We can talk a little bit about some things that I've observed as we've gotten to know your family more, which has really sparked my memory and thoughts about today's topic. So with that, I'll share a quick story that it was the first time that I met your daughter, Olivia. You were relatively new to the area. We had met everybody else in your family except for Olivia. And she was, I think, an unwilling tag-along participant at a hockey practice. And we were all kind of sitting around, and I think it was her second day of school, maybe first or second day of school at Frisco High, her brand new high school. She had been ripped out of her, high school in the Phoenix area, and the family had relocated at different times to come back to the Frisco area. And Olivia was there, and she didn't have a very good first day of school, and she just didn't want any part of any of us around there. And you could tell she was just sad. And so that was my first impression of Olivia, and we felt really bad for her, knowing that she had gone through a lot in the last, whatever, six months or so. Now let's fast forward to a few weeks ago when she had her official scholarship signing for a golf scholarship at University of Colorado Springs. So she went from that down and out sad teenager to a year and a half later being a scholarship earner through a ton of hard work and obviously a lot of natural talent to earn that golf scholarship. So that, to see where the night and day change from where she came from and where she went to was pretty inspiring. I mean, even for a 17, 18-year-old to see that was pretty awesome. And I've had the conversation through our family with my son who plays hockey with your son. See what hard work and perseverance and a positive attitude can do. So I wanted to share that story. I know you're proud of your kids and you're proud of Olivia for going through that, but I saw it as a third-party observer and could really feel pride for her and for you guys as parents.
Thank you, for sure. Yeah, that was our family for the last 2 years definitely had to adapt and overcome some significant changes in our life. And not soon after, we were, hit with another big traumatic event that happened to me personally. So with Olivia, yeah, we're super proud. She just signed with University of Colorado Springs. And, when my husband came home and said that he got another job promotion with State Farm and we had to move back to Dallas, we honestly didn't think that the children were going to be upset about it, because they had been moved 4 other times and they were always excited about it. But this time they weren't. They literally, shed some tears and absolutely refused to go. So to help with the family transition.
that middle school, high school age, that it becomes more difficult to make that transition. But
for sure. Eric was 8th grade and Olivia was a freshman, and she was the captain of the golf team and, in Arizona. So a lot of things that they were going to have to give up. But as a family, we decided that we would go ahead and do that ultimate sacrifice. We let my husband go to Dallas, to Frisco, almost a year ahead of time, 11 months. We stayed behind so that Olivia and Eric could finish school and hockey and golf, and just kind of give them a little time to get ready and accept what we had to do as a family that we'd done 4 other times. What we didn't know at the time was that my mom, who lived with us since Olivia was born and helped raise Olivia and Eric, she passed away. So January, this next January will mark 2 years that she will have passed. So we certainly did anticipate that was also going to be thrown our way. So we get through it, obviously, and it's during that time I decided to start my own company. And one of the things that for me that I felt was very important was showing my children that you can definitely find the inner strength to get through some pretty impactful things in your life. Back to Olivia, one thing that we didn't talk about when she got her scholarship and kind of the challenges was also grieving the loss at a young age of a grandmother that lived with her and helped raise her. One of my personal stories that I definitely talk a lot about to people that I meet is 5 years ago, I suffered a ruptured brain aneurysm. And that was not an easy thing to get through. My family and I thought, I definitely was not going to survive that that aneurysm. In fact, if you talk to any of the neurosurgeons and medical staff that treated me, I should not have survived that. So that definitely has changed and altered the way that I parent and live. I started to, at the time, didn't have a plan in place for my family. I was the one that took care of all the finances and took care of everything. And so my family wasn't prepared if something would have happened. So we were very, very fortunate that nothing did, but that altered how I lived every day. And so now, if you were to ask Olivia and Eric or Steve, they are extremely prepared with everything they need to know in the event something happened to me again or my health goes down, declines. But that's something that I try to coach all my clients. They receive every day that side of me, the side that knows that life is short and it can change in a second, and having a plan together and making sure you communicate with all of your loved ones and those people that need to be in the know is making sure that you're depositing all the information, you're sharing and transferring, everything that you want to transfer, because you never know when life is going to really throw you a curveball. So, if you look at our family in the last 5 years, from going from a ruptured brain aneurysm to a move, my mom passing away, starting a company, I think you definitely check all the boxes for some pretty significant stressful times. But I think, it's a lot of positive attitude, a lot of support from friends and family. I couldn't do it without all of them. You could get through quite a bit of, just junk that life throws you. So I think if I had anything to share, it would definitely be to lean on those that are your friends, your family, that will help support and give you that confidence and that courage to just keep moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic advice. And the other nugget I pull out of there is, you don't necessarily think about the worst. You never really want to think about the worst happening, right? You and I talked when I first learned about your brain aneurysm. My wife Tina has an identical twin sister, and she had a very similar incident. Much younger age, she was in high school at the time, but their world was thrown upside down, in a second. To the point where you had a helicopter that came in and flew her to the nearest hospital. Then she was up at the Mayo Clinic. I mean, it's obviously a life-changing event, but that happened in the blink of an eye. Sounds like the same exact thing for you guys, and thank God you had the doctors and staff and support, family, friends, everything else to get you through that. So the other nugget that I pull out of all that is the preparedness factor. You never want to think about the worst thing that can happen, but if you're not prepared for it, it's going to make it that much worse for either yourself or the family and the loved ones that you care about. So, yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. That's those are some great lessons, and nobody wants hard times and hard things to go through, but it definitely makes you come out stronger on the other end.
It does. Yes, for sure. So, it's very uncomfortable conversation for many people, but if you can just slowly start to pivot that way so that you have those conversations, it definitely will help all of those significant people in your life, should that happen.
For sure. Well, let me take a pause here, and we've been talking about health issues, all unwanted health issues. I want to take a moment to mention the sponsor of our show, and that is Liberator Health Insurance. So perfect segue into having good health insurance and reliable health insurance. Liberator Health Insurance is our sponsor for Real Talk with me. And I am going to give you a little bit of background about Greg Holdberg, who is the owner of Liberator Health Insurance, and I'll read a little bit about his company. So, Lennon, I don't know if you have that splash screen we can put up with his info, but if not, it's okay. Oh, there it is. All right. So Liberator Health Insurance has plans that allow you to see any doctor and go to any hospital in or out of network. This is a perfect time to be talking about this because it is the deadline for the government marketplace sign up is, I think, a couple weeks away. So this Liberator Health Insurance and along with Greg's help is a great time to reach out to him. He can make it very clear as to what Liberator can do. You can save 40 to 60% on your premiums. In fact, Liberator just insured a single mom with 2 kids with great benefits for under $330 a month. You compare that to the marketplace plans out there, and that's a significant savings. Now, these plans offer the largest PPO provider network in the United States. It covers hospitalization, surgeries, doctor visits, preventative health screenings, teledoc, x-rays, MRIs, labs, you pretty much name it, emergency rooms, urgent care, and much, much more. As an independent broker agency, Liberator works with some of the best insurance carriers in the industry to get you the most coverage at an affordable monthly premium. And as I said, our man Greg Holdberg is the owner. For more information to get a quick quote, call or text Greg at independent, or his information is 214-886-4688. Again, 214-886-4688. Or visit him at his website, which is www.liberatorhealthinsurance.com. All right. Thanks for putting that up there, Lendon. Appreciate it.
Sure. And I'll add real quick, if you don't mind, Brian, you had him as a guest on the show, and
Yes, sir.
I was shocked at what type of insurance and how they provide that insurance. I mean, it's insurance done right. It's not, I think a lot of us feel like that we pay for a lot of things that we don't use or need. And his is more, I'm not going to say a la carte because I don't want to get into explaining what it is. But if you've got questions about insurance, I would talk to Greg because he has some answers that you have not ever heard before. And I think it was pretty impressive.
I would agree with that. It's pretty innovative in that, and I won't get into details either. Greg can certainly share that if you're interested. But it allows you to really pick and choose the services that you need. And it part of the reason why they can offer it at a lower price. I think he used a pretty good example where, somebody who's 55 years old doesn't need to pay for maternity care or pick up that piece of the coverage. So it really allows you to personalize and to what your needs are. So that's one of the huge benefits. Also, I will mention about his offerings. They do cover not just individuals, but they cover organizations. So if you are looking for a change for your business and offerings to your employees, Greg can handle that as well. So again, his information is going to be scrolling at the bottom of the screen. It has been for the show. We will throw up the information again at the end. But certainly, if you're even thinking about your options and don't like your current options, Greg has an alternative that can really make sense for you individually or as an organization. So with that being said, let's transition back to the conversation about overcoming adversity and adjusting and the ability to react to what comes at you. We'll get off of the dire subject of medical procedures and things like that. One thing that I can say is that I know you guys personally, but there's a lot of folks out there who have the same demographics, I'll call it, or challenges as far as kids that are very active. Our kids are all participants in competitive sports at a high level, so that involves travel, that involves a ton of practice time, lessons, all that stuff. So we always find it a challenge to balance. We have 3 kids personally. You guys have 2. You guys both have careers. So what are some of the success factors that you found, or challenges, I guess, and how you overcome them with balancing your work life, startup of a new company? How do you guys maintain your work-life balance?
Yeah, the kids right now would be and Steve as well, rolling their eyes at me because I have lists. Every day I have a checklist for the entire family, and we live by mommy's list. So for sure, I pretty much prioritize because, I just acknowledge you can't do everything. It's just impossible. So you prioritize what's most important, and then you delegate what's, how you get those things accomplished. And the 4 of us are equally responsible to do everything with regards to the household. So back to, it's important for me to coach my children and get prepared for when they go out on their own and have to have their own personal finances and household, how to maintain it, how do they pay bills, and how much money do they need to have in the bank. So they also are responsible for a lot of the things that we need to do every day with regards to paying for hockey or golf or buying clothes. So our success is in the family is we also all are responsible for our personal budgets, and B, we have lists, and we just make sure that we go through those lists every day. But we also take time to be present for one another. It's difficult because you have 4 people going in different directions, so we make it a point that we take a day a week to spend time, whether it be 2 hours watching a movie, but we also put on the list that we need to take time to spend as a family. So that's that's kind of what the Florence family does, and it works. And I definitely again try to share that with everybody that I meet and my friends and clients. And it's not easy. I agree with you. It's not easy, but I certainly don't get myself too worked up if I don't finish everything, because it's going to be there tomorrow. So, letting go of what you need to let go and just be present. I always say be present, and just to always remember to make an impact. It's kind of what I teach my kids: be present and make an impact.
Well, I think I might need to hire you to get my kids to earn their keep. That's pretty impressive that, they're chipping in. And actually, share a quick anecdote. I know your son Eric very well, and he's taken it upon himself with maybe a little bit of urging from you guys, but it sounds like he's done it very self-driven, and he's now an official referee on the hockey ice. So you talk about earning your keep. He's earning good money being he's gone through the certifications and training to become a hockey referee. So my son, it rubbed off on my son Will a bit, and now he's going through the program. So I think we'll start funneling those dollars towards paying for his hockey bills as well.
Yeah. One of the things that I didn't mention that Olivia and Eric also work for the company, so they have they're learning what a paycheck means and how they earn that paycheck. So Olivia does a lot of the bookkeeping for clients, and Eric does a little bit of social media for the company and posting twice a week on all of our social media platforms. He puts together the graphic, and so they both now know what it is to have a job and employer, and staying accountable to what they have to accomplish in order to earn that paycheck. So we've certainly gone through the lessons of gross pay, net pay, and all the taxes in between. So it's been nice to have them also contribute back to help the company that I founded. And who knows what, once they finish college, if maybe they'll decide to become an entrepreneur. But I certainly have been trying to pass the tools down of what I know they need to be successful as they enter adulthood.
No, I think that's fantastic, because you go through school and you think about your schooling, and there isn't a class dedicated to, at least in the schools I went to, especially in the primary and secondary schools, there isn't a class to teach you life skills around finances, and that's actually one of the things that we help educate real estate investors on. You don't need to be a college educated finance degree holding person in order to get into real estate investing. You have to learn some of the basics and have a good team around you to help you kind of navigate some of the waters in the real estate world. But I think that's fantastic, because it teaches them lessons that they're not learning in school, and they're not likely to find a place that's going to teach them that. So to learn that at an early age, I think is fantastic. And you're the best example as parents for your kids, and the fact that you've started your own business and it's grown so significantly over the last year and a half. I think that's a great example for your kids, and that's a life lesson that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so let's. I've got a couple of other things on my list that I want to talk about, both from a business and a personal standpoint. So we've talked about a lot of things, and a lot of things that you've been through. One way to sum it up, I guess, one word or one key attribute. What's the one key attribute or key word that would summarize the things that have made the difference for you, both personally and professionally?
For me, I definitely live by the old cliche, live each day as if it's your last. So I do wake up and truly think about how that day I can make that impact and how I can stay present and give back. I really enjoy helping others, and I love giving back. So that would be the one thing that I would say is, just truly live each day as if it is your last, and make it so that when you are no longer here, you make this impact that people will remember you by.
Very good.
I think that's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Well, I will open the floor to you if there's anything else you want to add about yourself, about whatever personal anecdote, or certainly provide some information on your business again. It is scrolling at the bottom, but just remind everybody out there what you guys do, why you're different, and we can wrap up the show.
Brian,
Sure.
I want to pop up her website too while she's talking, so that we can share that and
Perfect.
people know kind of what it looks like.
Sure. Yeah, no, thanks again for inviting me. I've enjoyed today and talking about it because I love to share the experience and the stories, only because it's about raising awareness and building relationships. And I think you both are doing an amazing job about both. You're raising awareness and with all your viewers and building relationships because it's so important. It's one of the reasons why I think that will set me apart sometimes when I go in to meet with, prospective clients is, I have a big network of partnerships and relationships. And through those, anybody who knows me is gets that benefit of all those relationships. So yes, if there's anyone that obviously is looking for any type of, coaching in any type of, industry, feel free to reach out, or if they're just curious about that day, and what does that mean when you have a stroke? If you're a survivor, how do you get through that? I'm here to always just share my story and my experiences. So, I'd like for your viewers to know that please reach out. I'm the girl next door, and just always make myself available to anybody. And I love what I do, so I'm happy to help anybody out there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the show today. First and foremost, thanks for sharing some. I know there are a lot of personal topics, but I think you did a fantastic job of sharing those. You guys are a great family. So thanks for joining the show today. Thanks for sharing about your business. I will also share a little bit more information, the contact information of our sponsor, Liberator Health Insurance. Again, the owner of the company is Greg Holdberg. Please reach out to him if you're even thinking about entertaining options for health insurance. He's an independent health insurance broker. He can be reached at 214-886-4688 or visit his website at www.liberatorhealthinsurance.com.
Brian, I just posted that also on social media, so it will be in the comments. I'm about to put Debbie's in there as well. So if there's some contact or interest in contacting her, people will be able to click right on that right out of the comment section.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Lyndon. Lyndon, thanks again for just starting up this awesome platform of The Difference. I think it embodies exactly what its name is. It's making the difference. So let's keep up the good work there. With that, I'm good. If you're good, Lyndon.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Great show. Debbie, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
As I said before, the difference is about sharing stories that inspire people, because sometimes we feel so isolated. We feel like that we're the only ones some of these things are happening to. And then all of a sudden you hear someone else that fought through it, and you realize that it gives you the strength and the courage and inspiration to push on one more day. And sometimes all we need is one more day. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your outstanding business and your daughter getting a scholarship. That's a big deal.
Yes.
Very cool. As an
Yeah.
ex-coach, I know the excitement that goes along with that. That is awesome.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, with that being said, I will sign off. You can catch us every week at 1 p.m. on Thursdays. Real Talk with Brian Poduska, sponsored by The Difference and Real Property Management Focus. With that, take it easy, guys. See you next week. Bye all.
Bye.
The Difference is a proud supporter of the following nonprofits. Creek and Timber Legacy, providing outdoor learning, hunting, and firearm therapy for veterans, first responders, and children with serious illness. You can find more info at creekandtimberlegacy.org. And Sharp Shoes. Through local schools and shelters, Sharp Shoes helps provide new shoes for countless needy people and their families. You can find more info at sharpshoes.org.